In this example, we're going to show LogScope loading a LAS file, followed by actually loading some CT data. In this case, we're loading the LAS file, and we just select the LAS file, and it produces the logs as a standard presentation. So we launch LogScope, and we pull up a file called test.las, and it will display it in a standard presentation. Note that this standard presentation does not have any of the resistivity logs, and there's some anomalies with the neutron log and the density and the PDF. So we need to add the resistivity curves to this plot, and we can do that by highlighting the track and selecting the resistivity curves one after the other. So we've now got the lateral log shallow and the lateral log deep. The next step is to populate the density and the D row curves, which we'll do now. And then we will populate the PEF curve. Now you'll note that the D row is populated minus 0.25 to plus 0.25 on the track. So we change the values to minus 0.75 to 0.25 so that it plots in the right hand quarter of the track. After doing this, the next step is to build a track in which we're going to display the images. So we highlight the resistivity track because we want it to appear before there, choose linear, and it creates a track next to it. So we select the add image, and this will present a dialog box, and you can see it says none. If there are pre-existing images in the file, that'll be populated. With this dialog box, if we tap on it, we can select create new, and it presents a dialog box. We give it a name, and we're going to load some CT image scans. They're in meters. All the depths are in meters. We hit the plus, which allows us to go to a directory. So we navigate to the directory, and we select the files. We can select them one at a time, or we can select all of them at once. And then you load them. The file names are presented with the depths extracted from the file name. LogScope will attempt to do this with every file. Once you've got that, you just hit OK, and it plots it at the scale. Now we'll just use the gesture, pinch and squeeze, and we'll expand the scale. The neutron's actually plotted in percent, so we're going to use the unit conversion to convert the neutron from percent to volume for volume. And it's a separate function under functions, and we can do that, and there it is, it's done. I'm going to shade between the neutron and the density, and I'm going to use a light green. So I basically select shading, and then I drag that to between the two curves that I want, in this case the PF and the density overlay. So I'm just going in there and I'm going to edit it. and I'm just going to modify the PE curve to the density curve, and then that's complete. It's all very handy to be able to plot JPEGs in an image, and that's no different to other software, but where LogScope is distinct is if we go to export and we export as a DLIS, we will include the JPEG files in the DLIS file, and we export it and save it as a DLIS file. And just to show you what we mean, we will load that up after we've saved it. So we're here, we're going to save it into projects, and we're going to save it into the directory, and there it is, it's saved. Now the next step is to actually import that DLIS in as a separate project, and we'll show you how you can display it. So now we're going to load LogScope again, and we want to add new, and we're going to add the DLIS file. So we basically select the DLIS file, and it reads the DLIS file. It says it's presenting the logs, and we load them, and we load the data. Now you see here, this is the neutron. We corrected it to volume for volume in the previous example. We're going to put the resistivity curves on there. The next step is to put the density and the D row and the PEF on there, so we will proceed and do that the same way as we did last time. Select the resistivity track, and we will add a new track before it. And you'll watch now that when we go to add image, you will see that the image is presented in there as a CT scan. So we can just hit OK, and it plots it there. And then we can just rebuild the plot. We can just expand the scale of the plot, and we can see it exactly the same. LogScope has the ability to save plots as templates, so you can actually save this plot as a template, and you could actually load that template. So we've basically got the capability to store images in a DLIS file. Thank you very much.